Have you ever found yourself surrounded by abundance, perhaps even indulging in every pleasure, yet feel inexplicably weighed down by illness, lethargy, and a persistent lack of true well-being? What if the very things we pursue for comfort and happiness are inadvertently leading us down a path of increasing suffering, both physically and mentally? And what if the secret to vibrant health, mental clarity, and a fulfilling life lies not in more indulgence, but in a profound, ancient wisdom of balance and mindful living? Today, we journey into a powerful Buddhist parable that unveils the true connection between our physical habits, our mental state, and our ultimate happiness. We'll witness a wealthy man, plagued by ailments despite his luxuries, seek guidance from the Buddha. His transformation offers invaluable insights into the importance of self-control, purposeful action, and the profound wisdom of nourishing not just the body, but the mind and spirit. Prepare to discover why true health is holistic, why meaning is essential for vitality, and how embracing ancient teachings can prolong your life and lead you to enlightenment. Chapter 1. The Wealthy Man's Plight, Suffering Amidst Opulence. Once upon a time, while the Buddha was preaching his profound doctrine for the conversion and liberation of the world in the neighborhood of Savatthi, a bustling city, a man of immense wealth approached him. This individual, despite being surrounded by every imaginable luxury, suffered from a multitude of debilitating ailments. He was plagued by severe obesity, an overwhelming and excessive drowsiness that clouded his days, and other persistent complaints that caused him constant pain and discomfort, so much so that he could barely move without an ache. His opulent life, ironically, had become his prison of suffering. He approached the Buddha with clasped hands, a gesture of humility, but his movements were labored and difficult. "O Lord Buddha," he began, his voice heavy with weariness and self-pity, "pardon me for my want of respect in not saluting you as I ought to. But I suffer greatly. My body is a burden. I am afflicted by obesity, excessive drowsiness, and other complaints, so that I cannot move without pain." He sought a cure, a magical remedy for his physical woes. The Tathagata, an epithet for the Buddha, meaning, one who has thus come, or one who has thus gone. Seeing the lavish luxuries with which the man was surrounded, the fine clothes, the rich jewels, the aura of excessive indulgence, immediately understood the root cause of his ailments. He recognized the man's suffering, dukkha, was not from poverty, but from unskillful habits stemming from his wealth. The Buddha, with his compassionate gaze, asked him, "Have you a desire to know the cause of your ailments and the path to true health?" The wealthy man, desperate for relief, immediately expressed his willingness to learn, his curiosity piqued by the Buddha's direct perception. Buddhist insight. This opening establishes the paradox of suffering amidst material abundance. The wealthy man's ailments are a direct result of his unskillful habits, akusala karma. Driven by tanha, craving for pleasure, comfort, and moha, delusion, ignorance, about true well-being. His physical ailments are forms of dukkha, suffering. The Buddha's immediate recognition of the cause, even before being told, highlights his prajna, wisdom. His question, "Have you a desire to know the cause?" is a skillful means, upaya, engaging the man's willingness to learn rather than simply giving a direct command, laying the groundwork for personal responsibility. Chapter 2. The 5 Causes of Suffering, a Prescription for Balance. When the wealthy man expressed his earnest willingness to learn, the Buddha, with profound clarity, revealed the intricate connection between lifestyle and suffering. "My friend," the Buddha said, his voice resonating with universal truth, "there are 5 specific things which, when indulged without mindfulness, produce the condition of which you so greatly complain, leading to your suffering." He then meticulously enumerated them, shining a light on the subtle roots of the man's ill health. Opulent dinners, excessive eating. You indulge in excessively rich and abundant meals, far beyond what your body truly needs for sustenance. This points to gluttony and lack of mindful consumption. Love of sleep, excessive drowsiness, lethargy. You succumb to an excessive love of sleep, giving in to drowsiness and lethargy. Neglecting activity and alertness. This indicates a lack of virya, right effort. Hankering after pleasure, sensory overindulgence. You constantly hanker after fleeting pleasures, endlessly seeking gratification from the senses without moderation. This highlights tanha, craving for sensory delights. Thoughtlessness, lack of mindfulness. You live in a state of thoughtlessness, lacking mindful awareness in your daily activities and choices. This points to avidya, ignorance, and absence of sati, mindfulness. Lack of occupation, purpose, idleness. You suffer from a profound lack of occupation, a lack of meaningful activity or purpose, leaving your mind and body stagnant. This indicates a deficiency in right livelihood, samma ajiva, or purposeful action. The Buddha then offered a clear, compassionate prescription for transforming these unskillful habits into a path of well-being. To overcome these conditions and prolong your life, you must engage in proactive change. Exercise self-control at your meals, eating with moderation and mindfulness. And, importantly, take on yourself some duties that will genuinely exercise your abilities and make you truly useful to your fellow men, to your community. In diligently following this wise advice, not only will you cure your bodily ailments, but you will also prolong your life, leading a more fulfilling existence. Buddhist insight. This teaching is a classic application of the middle path, Majjhima Patipada, advocating for balance rather than extremes. The Buddha directly links the man's physical suffering, dukkha, to his unskillful habits, all rooted in tanha, craving for pleasure, and moha, delusion, ignorance. The 5 causes enumerated are practical examples of unwholesome actions, akusala karma, that lead to negative results. The prescribed remedies, self-control, taking on duties, directly address sila, ethical conduct, and viriya, right effort. Self-control at your meals emphasizes right mindfulness, samma sati, in consumption. Being useful to your fellow men highlights the importance of right livelihood, samma ajiva, and karuna, compassion, demonstrating that well-being is interconnected with purposeful action. Chapter 3. The transformation, from bodily cure to mental enlightenment. The rich man, deeply touched by the Buddha's profound insights, remembered the words of the awakened one. He resolved to put the advice into practice. Diligently changing his habits, he began to exercise self-control at his meals. Eating mindfully and moderately, he sought out duties and responsibilities that exercised his abilities and made him useful to his community. Engaging in purposeful work that transcended mere indulgence. Slowly, miraculously, his life began to transform. After some time, having diligently followed the Buddha's timeless advice, the wealthy man returned to the world-honored one. He had visibly recovered his lightness and youthfulness. His body was no longer burdened by obesity and drowsiness. He radiated a new vitality. This time, he came without horses and without the outward display of luxuries, humbly approaching the Buddha on foot, a stark contrast to his previous burdened state. He bowed deeply before the Buddha, his heart filled with profound gratitude. "Master," he said, his voice now clear and vibrant, "you have miraculously cured my bodily ailments. I am free from pain and lethargy." A new man, his physical transformation was undeniable, but his experience had opened his eyes to a deeper truth. "I come now," he declared, his purpose shifting from physical well-being to ultimate liberation, to seek enlightenment of the mind. He understood that the physical cure was merely a stepping stone, a prerequisite for a more profound spiritual journey. The Buddha, seeing his transformation and his earnest aspiration for wisdom, smiled. "Indeed," he replied, "the worldly man nourishes his body, and you have learned that skillfully. But the wise man nourishes his mind. He who indulges blindly in the satisfaction of his appetite, who chases pleasure without wisdom, inadvertently works his own destruction. For such a path leads only to continuous suffering." The Buddha continued, emphasizing the profound connection between wholesome living and ultimate liberation. "But he who walks in the Dhamma path, who cultivates wisdom, self-control, and purposeful action, will have both the salvation from evil, liberation from suffering in this life, and a prolongation of life, filled with true well-being and lasting peace." Buddhist insight. This section demonstrates the tangible results of applying the Buddha's teachings. The man's physical recovery is the immediate fruit of his wholesome karma, kusala karma, generated through right effort, samma vayama, and right livelihood, samma ajiva. His return to seek enlightenment of the mind signifies a deeper shift in his right intention, samma sankappa, moving beyond physical well-being to ultimate spiritual liberation. The Buddha's distinction between nourishing the body, worldly, and nourishing the mind, wisdom, emphasizes the ultimate goal of the Dhamma. Salvation from evil implies liberation from the defilements, kleshas, of greed, hatred, and ignorance, which are the root of suffering. This illustrates that physical health is a foundational step towards mental and spiritual health. Conclusion. The holistic path, balancing life for lasting happiness. Visual. A harmonious visual of yin and yang, perhaps intertwining elements of mindful eating, joyful activity, peaceful sleep, purposeful work, and serene meditation, show a flourishing tree, its roots deep, branches reaching. The Buddha's story logo shines brightly. You see, in your life, if we only feed our belly and our desires, if we solely pursue external gratifications without mindful awareness, what will ultimately become of us? If you sleep too much, if you wander around without any meaningful thoughts or purpose, if you just chase after fleeting pleasure without being of any genuine use to your community or your fellow human beings, what kind of life will you truly create for yourself? If you are now just a small, young root, perhaps a nascent being, what kind of tree will you truly become if you live this way, unchecked? Imbalanced, devoid of deeper purpose? This timeless parable, illuminated by the Buddha's profound wisdom, offers us a radical understanding of true health, profound happiness, and lasting fulfillment. It urges us to look beyond simplistic notions of indulgence or deprivation and to embrace the profound wisdom of balance. Key learnings for your personal Buddha story. Holistic well-being, mind and body interconnected. The story unequivocally demonstrates that physical health is intricately linked to mental and spiritual well-being. Unskillful habits in one area inevitably impact the others. Application. Adopt a holistic approach to your health. Pay attention not just to what you eat and how much you exercise, but also to the quality of your thoughts, your sleep, and your sense of purpose. Recognize that nourishing your mind is as crucial as nourishing your body. The wisdom of balance, middle path. The Buddha's advice is a perfect example of the middle path, Majjhima Patipada. It's about finding the right amount, the yin and yang, of sleep, nourishment, and usefulness. It's about enjoying life, but also having a meaningful occupation and setting purposeful goals. Application. Evaluate your own lifestyle for imbalances. Are you overindulging or overworking? Seek a harmonious equilibrium in all aspects of your life. This balance is not rigid, but a dynamic, mindful adaptation. Purposeful living, right livelihood and right effort. A lack of meaningful occupation leads to lethargy and unhappiness. Being useful to others, engaging your abilities, gives life profound meaning and vitality. Application. Set yourself meaningful goals, even small ones, that challenge you and contribute to something beyond yourself. Engage in work or activities that align with your values and make you feel useful to your community or family. This proactive engagement generates positive karma, nourishing the mind for true growth, samadhi and prajna, while feeding the body is essential. The wise person nourishes their mind through contemplation, learning, and spiritual practice. This mental nourishment leads to wisdom and true understanding. Application. Beyond physical sustenance. Dedicate time daily to nourish your mind. This could involve meditation, reading insightful books, engaging in deep conversations, or quiet reflection. This mental growth enables you to understand the universe and your place within it. Transforming unskillful habits. The man's transformation from a state of disease to vitality came from consciously changing his unskillful habits. Application. Identify one unskillful habit that is causing you suffering. Focus on replacing it with a skillful one. Remember, consistent, mindful effort can transform your life. The Buddha's profound wisdom, beautifully illuminated by this parable, invites us to cultivate a life of conscious balance, one that intelligently nourishes both body and mind, embraces purpose, and finds true, lasting happiness not in endless indulgence, but in the harmonious integration of all aspects of our being. This is the essence of your authentic Buddha story. Thank you for watching, and may you always carry the profound peace and illuminating wisdom of these stories within your heart. Join our growing community by liking this video and subscribing to Buddha Story, where ancient wisdom beautifully meets modern mindfulness. What aspect of your life will you commit to bringing more balance and mindful nourishment to this week? Share your reflections and experiences in the comments below. Until our next encounter, may your path be filled with profound peace, deep understanding, and the radiant light of your own awakening.